So, Maria doesn't really need any introduction, but we're going to introduce her anyway. She's an amazing, oops, I'm in the wrong spot. She is a nutritionist, renowned cookbook author of, I think, over 20 books now, right? Over 20? Yeah, you're amazing. So prolific, truly a genius in the kitchen. I think that's what her son calls her, magician in the kitchen. Yeah. And we had the incredible pleasure of hosting her for a cooking demo here in Connecticut last year. It
All
was
day.
so popular. Yeah, the food was so delicious, and easy, like easy to make, and that's what's so special about it. Makes this lifestyle totally doable, sustainable, pleasant, because we all want treats from time to time and want some of those comfort foods. And Maria's really, really good at that. We're going to be scrolling some of her photos, like all the people she's worked with great success, very inspiring. So please welcome Maria.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Ooh, that's loud. Well, there's my girl, Tula, right? Tula? Tula is the coolest teenager I know, and she is going to come help me cook because why not, right? So today I'm going to start with, and if you have the pictures coming, like I'll talk about some of them. But I have to cut over here. That's okay? Or I could tell Tula everything to do. Just kidding. We're going to start with the flourless chocolate torte. And it's really something simple. I've made it in just about every country. I've been asked to speak all over the world, and I usually make this after one of my presentations because it's just simple and it kind of shows them how to make it. We're going to start with unsweetened baking chocolate. So the only ingredient is chocolate. Okay, so Tula, I will have you open this one up. And we need 7 ounces, and each of these is 4. So I am going to 4, 8, take this much. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Here, we'll do these 2, and we're gonna have to move that bowl. So you chop it on here, and we're not gonna add the eggs until everything's melted. Has anybody made this before? I was gonna make this on the Italy retreat. Remember, because they were making us chocolate. She came on my Italy retreat to Ischia.
Do you want me to?
Yep, chop it nice and small, because the smaller it is, the better it's going to melt. We're going to heat it in the microwave. If you don't use a microwave, you can use a stovetop, but I'm not allowed to use that here. And then you also need, how much we need? We need 14 tablespoons of butter. Each of these is 12. So I'm going to put that into this bowl here. This is beautiful, bright yellow butter. And then I'll cut this one too. Christina was worried that I wanted to see everything before I worked. Oh, I don't even have the plastic off this. And I said, I've jumped on television and it's a live show. And they just throw you into the kitchen and let you kind of see what happens. It's kind of fun. Now, the next one I'm going to do after flourless chocolate torte is the hard-boiled egg pudding. Has anybody made that? I know some of you said that you just made it. Does anybody know how that recipe came about? How do you know?
I know your son did not like eggs.
Yep.
And you said, how am I going to get this child fed
Yep.
with nutrition?
This is Kai. Kai loves all food. He doesn't have any pickiness, where Mike is very picky, but he did not want to eat eggs. And yeah, I'm a whale whisperer, they call me. Check this out. The mom whale comes right there. And I bring my kids on the board, so that's Micah and me. People are like, are you wearing a life jacket? No, in Hawaii you don't have to, which I'm surprised, because if I would be on a paddleboard in Wisconsin, I'd get a fine. I'm also a bow hunter. But yeah, Kai didn't like eggs, and we didn't have any money. And what's the cheapest keto food, or was? Eggs, right? And so I tossed it into the blender and made pudding with it. So I'll show you that in a minute. I think this is warm enough. Okay, so now we're going to put that in the bowl with the 14 tablespoons of butter. Just scrape that on in there. And then we're going to heat that up until it's melted before we add anything else. And while she does that, I will make the pudding. So these are some of the testimonies I worked with. This is Twyla. I know her personally. She lost 270 pounds and got off medication. And if you think about that, it's like 2 humans she lost. And she would never leave the house because if she needed to use the restroom, she never would fit into a public restroom ever. So, and she's such an awesome human. So that can go into this microwave, which I don't even know how to use it. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Alrighty, then we will, yeah, try this one. Thank you. Has anybody made my protein bread? Yes? There you go. Holly! Oh, shoot. Get a little ceiling grease on that one. So just be aware, this was frozen. It was stuffed into a suitcase. Oh, man. I worked hard on these. And we all need to keep bugging Keto Chow to bring... I know. Come on. There you go, Holly. So that is just basically whipped egg whites and dried egg white protein, salt, and then this version has allulose in it, which helps caramelize that bread, but I usually don't even add allulose. And then it's true carnivore bread. It is plugged in. Should be. Yeah, it doesn't want to work, does it? No buttons work. It's on, but none of the buttons will work. So I know what we can do. We can put this in the toaster oven. Nope. Well, that's just like a great home base. If you go to ketomaria.com, you'll find my blog, which I've been blogging since blogging first started. And it was actually when we were adopting and my husband lost his job. And I was a rock climbing guide at the time because I was just going to be a stay-at-home mom. And when he lost his job, I got pretty depressed. I didn't want to wake up. And someone said, well, Maria, why don't you, first of all, write a book to help raise money for your adoption? And so they're out there. And the money all went towards helping adopt the boys. And before you know it, Craig's like, I don't think I need a job. I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad. And so the money still goes to help adoption just because we had such a hard time. Here, we'll put this in something else. We will dump it on into this. And then we'll put it in the toaster oven to melt it. Let's see. I remember someone at the time, it hurt my feelings a lot. They said, if you want to see God laugh, tell him what you have planned. And it was hard to hear it at the moment. But now it's like, okay, I get it, right? There we go. We'll just use, this is going to be really inefficient, but this is what we're going to do. So that's going to melt it if we just like watch it in a minute and stir it up. Thank you, my dear. So hard-boiled egg pudding. We'll move on to this. Let's see, where are the hard-boiled eggs? They're over here. So the chocolate pudding. We are going to put 10 hard-boiled eggs into the blender. And I just thought the testimonies would be inspiring, whether you're just starting or you've been on the journey for a long time. I think they're inspiring for everybody to stick with it. And I've even gotten to do keto retreats, and I have somebody here that was just on my Italy retreat in Ischia. Did you have fun? Super fun, right? I pinched myself. I'm like, how is this even possible that I get to travel? Couldn't afford it. So 10 eggs, then we're going to add some sweetener. I'm going to use a little stevia and some allulose. Now, my measurements are going to be a little bit off because I'm going to add less allulose because we are blessed enough to, instead of using unsweetened cocoa powder, we're using Keto Chow chocolate, which has some sweetener in it, which is great, but we don't need as much. And it has, then it's super protein, right? Trying to up your protein, you're going to get a lot in here. So I'm notorious for not measuring. And Craig's like, how are you going to write a cookbook if you don't measure, right? But You could always add more. You can't take away. So I always add less sweetener, especially a pudding. You could always add more later. Same with salt. You can always add more, but you can't take it away. And then we're going to use, cocoa. What am I calling this? Coconut milk. There we go. I don't know how to use this machine. There we go. This way. So you could use heavy cream if you wanted to. Bronson and I were you on the first keto? I know Keto Chow was there, the reverse TV show. I made this, and Mr. Ken Berry, I think, ate all of it. I don't know how this thing works. The magnet's not working either. Seems like it should be a magnet. Thank you, John. So with that can of coconut milk, we are going to add Keto Chow. And again, we could always add more, because I'm not sure just how much to use. I'm going to add 2 to start. And then once this rests, it will thicken up even more. So see, I told you it's tricky. We're going to add just a dash of cinnamon. Actually, you know what? Instead of cinnamon, we're going to add 1 packet of caramel. So it's a chocolate caramel, yeah? And I made a pumpkin version, and they have pumpkin out there. If you like pumpkin this time of year, instead of chocolate, you would just add their pumpkin in here. And I think that's it. A pinch of salt. You have plenty of salt in here, right? The Keto Chow, yeah. So we don't need to add any salt. I told you. Sure, is that what? We're going to add heavy cream. And we want 1 can of coconut milk, so about the whole thing. Yeah. There we go. Yep, you know it. And then we will blend this up. Hopefully that will work. I put it over here. Yeah, that's it. Oh, vanilla. We want to add a touch of vanilla. Not super important. That's awesome. And as we age, we need more, not less. But it usually ends up being that way. I can't open the vanilla, so we're not adding it. Oh, it's just. What? This is supposed to be a good blender. Mamma mia. All right. Let's see. Which one should we use here? I'll scrape this. And we were talking about it earlier, but has anybody made my protein noodle lasagna? Yeah, it's, ooh, sorry about that. Instead of noodles, you use, and you can make my own homemade deli meat. My own homemade deli meat is just chicken and salt. And you use the thinly sliced deli meat for the noodles. People never can tell. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Almost. A little bit more. This is not how it goes at home, I'm telling you. I'm starting to get nervous. It should work. I don't understand why it's not. More liquid, yeah. All right. I will. All right. Yep. Oh, I want more liquid, not all the coconut milk. But it does work, I promise you. Maybe I added too much Keto Chow. It still should blend. I don't understand. Because I want it to be a thick pudding. I just don't know why it won't even blend. Okay. Next year I'm bringing my blender, okay? Oops. Is that chocolate melted yet? guess I'm not, is it on a lower setting? I don't even know. See that? Okay, well, that's a pudding. Yay! I need that for another thing, though. I wouldn't use that. Yeah. Let me just try. That's for the, has anybody made the carnivore, what's it called? Bagels?
Do you want an immersion blender?
Well, I'm using that. Oh, you have another one? Do you? Let me just do this. Come on, I would do it at home.
We got a lot of cooks in the kitchen right now.
It's really good if it works. Okay. Thanks,
This is
Chris.
completely melted.
Okay, this is completely melted, so we're going to move on. We are going to put that back into that bowl, if we get that bowl.
Oh, the bigger one?
Yep. And I'm going to grease one of these. If I have it. Yeah. Okay. Spray that. And then now, once this is not too hot, which I don't think it is, we're going to add 5 eggs to that. Okay. So let's see. I still have to look at my notes sometimes. We're going to add 4 1/4 cups of allulose, but I'm going to use less because I like to blend sweeteners. But I don't write recipes like that because nobody wants to read that. So I'm going to use 1 cup of natural sweetener, and then we'll add a little stevia glycerate. Anybody use allulose? Yeah. Allulose acts like a natural GLP-1, like Ozempic and stuff. You'll naturally eat less when you, Dr. Nadir, we interviewed him, and he found a lot of studies showing that if you do like 2 tablespoons of allulose, whether it be in your coffee, which I don't recommend, or water, you will naturally eat less throughout the day. I don't recommend just doing that, but so there. We have that. I'm going to add stevia glycerate. And then 5 eggs. And that's it. Maybe a little salt, and that's it. Do you know why I add salt to desserts? Yep, you can use less sweetener if you add salt because it brings out everything. There we go. Now, I have a whisk here. The hand mixer is not plugged in, so I'm just going to use a whisk, which is fine. Nobody's made this, huh? I was going to make a brown butter frosting with it, but I can't make brown butter here. There's nothing to do that in. I guess technically I have to do it in the microwave, but we don't have a microwave that works. So at this point, if you're not afraid of raw eggs, which I'm not, you can taste it and make sure it's sweet enough to your liking. And if it's not, you're going to want to add more because when it bakes with natural sweeteners, it's going to be less sweet. So something like the pudding, if you taste it and it's perfect, then that's going to work just like that. Is that going to tip over on me? Yeah. There we go. But who would make this? Pretty easy, huh? This bowl is really hard to hold. Do you mind me grabbing the bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. There we go. Oh, this is Josie. She has Turner syndrome. And she was doing injections to help her grow, and it never worked. That's good. You can ditch that bowl. Thanks, Chris. Okay, so now this is going to go into the oven. And the next one, we need the oven too, but we'll have to figure that out. Ouch. Okay, there we go. Someone have a timer for like 20 minutes? Thank you. Let's see. Maybe we'll underbake it a little bit so it's like a, let's see. Oh man, Craig, you didn't finish the directions. I can't remember how long it is, but we'll get 20 minutes. Okay. So the pudding is coming. We'll get that going. And then now the carnivore bagels. Has anybody made those before? Crazy good, right? So we're just going to use ground chicken because I want to show you that you can use just ground chicken. And I've done that many a times when I make waffles out of this. If you have a waffle maker, it makes a crispy outside and a tender inside. Sounds weird, but we're going to start with ground chicken. Or you could use like chopped up chicken breast, something like that. But you want it to be cooked. This blender, I hope, works. Okay, we want 9 eggs. So I'm going to crack 9 eggs into here. And some people are like, how do you get these ideas? And I just like to mess around with food and see if it works out, and it does. And I have free private Facebook groups too, and they sometimes are like, this is so good, and they'll give me ideas, and I credit them for the ideas. So, because they made other things with this. Muffins, and then you can make like the muffin into stuffing for Thanksgiving. Because you wouldn't guess there's beef, because I usually use half beef and half ground chicken. And these recipes are on my blog, which is mariamindbodyhealth at gmail.com. I got a shell in there, but that's not coming out. Got it. I did wash my hands, I promise. So like the carnivore bagels and the carnivore waffles are all on there. Carnivore bagels. Yep. And then we need a tablespoon of gelatin, and gelatin helps give baked goods like a chewy texture, like a bread. I had the measuring spoon somewhere underneath here. So it's Kai's birthday party today. That's how much I love you guys. Kai's 14 now, and he said, Mom, I want quesadillas for my birthday. I'm like, you have to tell me when you like a recipe of mine, because I just keep moving on. And he's like, I made quesadillas like once, and he wanted those again. And so I made the tortillas ahead of time, and I froze them. And so Craig just has to put everything together. Some mayo. Let's see if it's on this side. I just want to double check. I have to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So we'll get that going here. So quesadillas, he wanted my homemade ice cream and strawberries with his ice cream and all the things. So he's having a good old time, I know. And then we want salt. So vanilla. Yeah, vanilla with strawberries on it. So yeah, and we want like half a teaspoon, 3/4 of a teaspoon, a little more. And then you could make these whatever flavor you wanted. If you wanted to add like cinnamon or a savory flavor, you are welcome to do that too. I don't know where that cover went. This cover? I don't think I saw it. Yeah? Like that? Hey, Mom. There we go. I should have added that too. Thank you. Okay, I need to add the rest of this. At least the blender worked this time. It's ground chicken, yeah. Here it is. These blenders don't like me. So I have made them where there's like chunks in there. It's not ideal, but it'll work. Where's that immersion blender? Just kidding. All right, we're just gonna make it. It's fine. So we have our bagel pans here, and it is helpful if you put it on over there in that box, back there by that can. Be careful, hon. Could you get a pan for me to set these on? Otherwise they flop around. And then I'm gonna grease them up. Let's see, what else are we making? Oh, we're making butter mayo. It's like a carnivore mayo, and then we'll make them into deviled eggs. Everybody loves a deviled egg, right? That's something that I usually always bring to, well, I can rest it on there so it doesn't.
Avocado oil.
Yeah. South Chicago does a tallow spray. I don't even know how that works, but it's good. Oh, instead of a bagel? True. That could work. Why, thank you, Chris. Did you taste it? Is there enough chocolate in there?
I might have gotten some on my hand.
Okay. You can see that there's some chunks in here, but you get to taste it and make sure that, oh, I put it in this one. I should have done this one. Shoot. True. I'm going to spray it though. Okay. Now, what's your Instagram? This girl is like a cooking fiend on Instagram. Ooh. Tula loves food. That's so cute. Now you have to be, ooh, there's a big chunk in that one, a pioneer and be our future for the keto community, right? Yeah. You didn't sound very confident.
I don't know. I like my sugar, but
And you were in Greece, right?
yeah. Well, I went last summer. I think, yeah.
That's awesome. I have a Greece retreat in May. You should come. Okay, this one's gonna be a little odd-sided. And we can't get these in the oven just yet, but there we go. So those are the bagels. And now we are gonna move on to butter mayo. Oh, bummer. Somehow we need to heat this butter up. It's got to be really melted though to make butter mayo. So we want a cup of butter. It's really good. What's that?
Just hand me the bowl when you have the right amount in there, and I'll figure out how to use it.
Okay. I'm going to clean this bowl. Like wipe it clean. Thank you. Yeah, so butter mayo. Did you guys have the carnivore deviled eggs like 100 times on that TV show? I think I made so many deviled eggs. Oh, this is melting it. Kira? Kara or Kira?
Kira.
Kira, thank you very much. Our magician is going to figure that one out. Okay, and so now we have this. Is it a twist? How do we?
You squeeze and it comes out.
There we go.
I figured you might want to demonstrate the technique.
The technique?
Yeah.
Well, mine has a twist one.
Oh, I mean the stabbing it to death with the immersion blender.
Okay, so we have some cups over here. Oh, wait. Oh, I can't do that one. Shoot, I'm going to tell you about this one. Now, these can go into, I have cups somewhere. Where did we put them? Here we go. You want to just like spoon some pudding into each one? And again, like people on my groups, yeah, sure. They posted like 100 different flavors of this. Pistachio, vanilla, you name it. So here, thank you. So we don't have a microwave for this, but does anybody know what these are? It's Parmesan rinds, the ends of it. So you cut this into small pieces like this. That's all I saw. That's probably good. So you're gonna, if you do this at home, because I use Parmesan, and then most people like toss the rinds. You can add it to soup. It adds umami. Otherwise, you're gonna cut them into really small pieces like this, and put them on a piece of parchment, and into the microwave for like 90 seconds, and they get triple the size, and they're crispy like a Cheeto. Yeah, carnivore Cheetos. It works. So that would be ideal, but I don't know if I have anything to get this out. Just want to check on it. Nope. So when I cook at home, I usually have 100 things going on, and it always, oh, that's not done. It's usually after the kitchen's been cleaned, and I usually have Kai likes to help me out, and Craig's like, really? I just cleaned the kitchen. And it's always twice as messy when Kai is helping, but it's memories of a lifetime, right? Totally worth it. Okay, let's see. Now we're gonna do this butter mayo when we have a chance. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put 1 egg into a bowl. Ideally, if it's like a mason jar, that's usually what I use, a wide mouth mason jar, but this is what we got. So we're gonna make it work. 1 egg. And the trick is, has everybody made their own mayo? You need a room temperature egg. If you use a cold egg, it's gonna fail every time. So we have that. We're gonna add some salt, but not too much because I always have it at the bigger one. I use a lot of salt. We're also gonna add fish sauce. Anybody have fish sauce? Don't smell it, but it adds umami. Does anybody know what umami is? It's that 6 flavor, yeah, the magic flavor, right? So add a little bit of that. And then I like to add that, not just to my deviled eggs, but if you make a sauce or anything, it's just kind of like this secret thing. I'm gonna reach over here for this. And then you want some sort of acid, like you can use pickle juice, you could use mustard. Hey, it's melted? Awesome.
Anything else, just send it to me and I'll figure it
Okay, thank you. You'll figure it out. That's awesome. We do have a stick blender here behind you. And when you make these, you ideally want to add a little bit of liquid, whether it be beef broth, because when butter gets cold, what does it do? It gets hard again, right? So at the moment, it's going to stay soft while I make the deviled eggs. But if you make it deviled eggs, and then you put them in the fridge, they're going to get hard. But since we're not going to put them in the fridge, we're going to enjoy them right away. I'm not even going to worry about beef broth because I don't have any. So that's why. Whoa. So you could also use bacon fat if you're dairy-free, but then it's going to really taste like bacon mayo. So you just want to get this going, and you want to start slowly. It's not an ideal situation, but it's working. And once you got some in there, you can go a little bit faster. Ooh, I am going to have a butter shirt. That wasn't super ideal, but now we have mayo. Okay, it's going to be fine. Now what we're going to do, that mayo is great for the start of, I'll make tartar sauce with it, ranch dressing, all of that type of stuff. So if you make ranch dressing, you usually add like a cup of sour cream and then the ranch seasoning. That's kind of the trick to that. If you make it into tartar sauce, you'd add some mayo, and then you would add, I don't need this bowl. You would add maybe some diced pickles, dill, whatever you like in your tartar sauce. It's better than any store-bought sauce you'd ever get. So we have these pre-made eggs, and I'm going to slice them in half. and then put the yolks into here, and we'll make that into deviled eggs. Does anybody claim they don't have time to cook? It's baloney. I mean, I know. I worked with Halle Berry. I was on a TV show, 2 of them. I wrote 3 books in a year. I don't have time, but I make time. We homeschool kids. It's just a priority. So even if, like, we love the Packers, don't hate me. If the Packers are on, I'm usually in the background cooking. I don't really sit still a lot either, so it's all good. I was going to put this into that food processor. Oh my gosh. This is working. There you go. Has anybody tried my Italian chili? That one's only 3 recipes or 3 ingredients, and my kids ask for that like every day. So that's really easy. I make them do it. Because I'll make 8 pounds of ground beef at a time with it. And they eat it so fast, like, oh, you got to do it. But at that age, beef, well, and salt. And I usually use Primal Kitchen tomato, basil. And then that's it. They say it tastes like pizza in a bowl. So it's good. Simple. But it's mainly ground beef, and it's more like my mom, she will watch the kids if we have to go travel for some reason. And she's like, yeah, your kids had spaghetti sauce for dinner. Like, Mom, just because you would put that on noodles doesn't mean that's what it is. She's great, though. I'm just grateful to have her. Someday I'll get her to an event. We'll see. I usually put a lot of stories in my books. I don't know if you noticed that. I'll do like head notes about each recipe. And has anybody made Grandma Nancy's Italian beef? No. It's just kind of a play on my mom about a story. I won't tell it here. It's a little mean. Yeah? You can substitute venison for. Why would you add more fat for? No. You can eat pure I'm glad you asked that, because that's something a lot of people will say. You need to eat 70% fat in order to be in ketosis. That's not true. Most people are trying to lose weight. 99% of people that work with me are trying to lose weight. All those people and those testimonies had to eat lower fat in order to use their body fat for fuel. But most people mistakenly add butter to the steak, and a ribeye is already very fatty. You don't need to add butter to it. But if you watch people online doing it, they're already lean. They're 24 years old, and they're a foot taller than I am. They can probably put butter on their steak, but they don't have to. But once you do, you are lean, so if you find yourself to be extremely hungry, protein's not a good energy source. And since you're not eating carbohydrates, that's when fat becomes your fuel. But if you want to get into the negative fat flux to lose weight, you have to lower the fat. Yep. A lot of people, they'll come to me after working with some carnivore experts where they're adding butter to the ribeye, and they're eating bacon every day and all of that. And when you test their triglycerides and their other numbers, they're terrible. They're through the roof. It's like putting too much gas into a gas tank, and it's overflooding. Oh, I should take this out. And it's overflooding the system. You're putting too much fuel into the body. So you have to lower that. A lot of them will gain weight doing that anyway, where that's showing up externally. This is not, it's not too bad. Here we go. 3 minutes to go. We're not going to get this all done. Okay, so we're going to put the bagels in here. Oh boy, barely fits. Yikes, we're just scrunching that in there. Did we hand out the pudding yet?
Very good.
Why, thank you. Thank you. And again, you can do any flavor. I'm not a huge chocolate fan, so just whatever flavor you like. Oh, and then I'm going to fill the deviled eggs here. 3 minutes, come on. I had all day last year. That was super fun. It's not too sweet, yeah? And again, you could always add more. But as you eat this way, you usually need less. So now this is pretty thin because, again, we use melted butter, right? So what I'm going to do now is, here, we have these piping bags. And let's see if we get these out here in 3 minutes. You can keep asking, oh, here, my retreats. They're super fun. We go to Italy, we go to Greece. We're going to Croatia in June. But if you want to like hang out with me and eat really good food, like flourless chocolate tort, and ask me any questions you have and hang out, you should come.
You control the kitchen on these trips?
I don't, but it's fun, right? I mean, it's pretty awesome. They did make, well, I don't want to use that one. They did make like a chocolate cake for us and stuff. And keto meals, but there's no judging. If people have gelato, I'm not gonna be like, you had gelato. But most people, I can't remember who it was on the trip, one of the sisters. Oh, I thank you. It's really runny. One of the sisters like, I feel like we're eating all the time, but it was mainly protein. And she's like, I lost like 4 pounds already. So, yeah, this is really runny. This is not my day. Yikes, it's just falling right out. But if it would cool, it wouldn't. But I don't have room for that to cool. Anybody want a runny deviled egg? No? All right, I knew somebody would. Bronson, let's go! I don't know if he's here. Bronson. That's awesome. Yeah, throw that out. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions before they kick us out? There are my services if you're interested. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like the things that my kids like to make it easier for you guys too. I feel like I'm a dog. I could eat the same thing every day. It doesn't bother me. Whoa. But whatever you miss, I got a recipe for. You want gummy bears? I got a recipe for that. Get a lot of collagen in there, gelatin. All right, this is a disaster. Sorry. Well, if I just like get a little bit more, I can fill these. Well, they're still gonna taste good. Actually, when they're warm, it has more flavor. You notice that? Like cheese is better warm.
But as soon as those go in the fridge, if you're cooking and freaking out at home, you put them in the refrigerator before your guests come. You take them out and they're fine.
I usually, so
Just so you know, I've done this a million times.
yeah, I do. What I do is I'll make this and not fill them, and I'll get to the party and I'll have this in a piping bag when it's chilled, and then just fill them because then they look prettier, right?
Cooking on the spot is hard.
It is hard. But yeah, and I do have a new certified keto coach here. Where'd she go? Jen, there you are. Did you like the program?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You loved it, yeah? And you have weekly meetings and everything. So I'm going to just have you guys come up and try a deviled egg if you don't mind. But I think that's my time, yeah? I have like 1 minute left.
Hey, thank you.